Welcome back, everyone. I'm Flux Dynamo, and today we're continuing our Grim Darkness playthrough of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Let's just get right on to it.
Onward to victory.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
Alright, let's just listen in silence.
While you are considering your answer, Edelthrad, I wish to speak with someone else. Perhaps I shall hear something more interesting than incoherent mumbling. Approach.
What is this? Is this someone from your retinue, Theodora? Do you permit your people to interrupt your conversations in such a fashion?
Let's continue.
I give that permission to those with something of substance to say. Let us see if it was worth it. This is the second candidate for the title of my successor. Step forward.
Let's continue.
Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
There are always ways to confirm whether what is happening on Aeon 4 is witchcraft or not. Aeon 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer.
Thorough, but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyker who could serve me well for many years. Yet you speak of several.
Sanctioned psychers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you suggest that we use heretics, who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants.
I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Ethelred.
Insolent, ignorant upstart. How dare you?
Continue.
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
Continue.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
Alright, continue. And into the second fight.
So, why
almost.
are you here?
I do not know, I just hope you'll clarify.
Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity.
Continue.
My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The Warrant of Trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all.
Continue.
It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon. Resources, people, riches, and mysteries is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes.
I'm ready to take on this sacred purpose.
Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump, and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader.
Continue.
Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake.
Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now?
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
Alright, I have no more questions.
In that case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
And alright, there we go. Now into this.
Another battle demands our attention.
This one really isn't too much of a serious fight. It's just still introducing you, making sure you're familiar with
I took care of this one.
moves. Oh yeah, I think I also have animation speed set up to double time.
Cannot believe us.
Alright. So, I do... Yep, just
As
try to
some
take
costly
it
mistake.
and get into cover. And that's going to be the bulk of our strategy with
Guides
this
me.
guy.
Death of a weak.
I've suffered worse.
I serve the ruinous powers.
Gotta hurt.
A tactically sound approach. Reduced to dust.
Weapon at the...
And it can't come off, so... Actually, could I get into range of him? What's my range on this? My range... 12 cells. Alright, so I can't get into range with him. So I'll just
They
do
won't
that.
expect this.
And...
Chaos guides me.
Nope,
can
yeah,
handle
they
this.
got it anyways. Alright.
I took care of this one.
That's it.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive.
Alright, continue.
Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
What are your orders?
Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
Alright, end dialogue. And
Stay sharp.
yep, nothing to pick up. So we just run to the next scene real quick. Double check. Yeah, nothing to pick up. Just running.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Continue.
Always on time, eh, Coonrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Alright, continue.
Mort, hold yourself together.
Continue.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Voxmaster is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Geller field failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
If this is indeed a severe case of warp madness, then the situation is dire.
You don't know the half of it. There's only one thing worse than the warp addling the brains of our crew, and that's the warp itself crawling all over our decks. I shouldn't even think about it. It's bad luck. Your orders, Lord Captain.
First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole arm.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlass, the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psychic powers.
Then it's settled. Find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
I hear and obey, Lord Captain.
Then move out! Mort, come.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
I shall make do. Lead the way.
Of course you will. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant. Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
What is the meaning of this?
You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter. Very little is required of you. Just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the Warrant chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel. An ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Oh, of course, I'm using my psychic powers. Get out, I'm not your puppet. In the gateway arches, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built in the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automation created from a lobotomized human being. The Sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. Tech. And I've succeeded. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eyes is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of aerotech relic. The servitor on the gate begins to move with a screeching and groaning of metal. It leans forward closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after what's his name wounded you with his blade did not go wounded after what's his name wounded you with his blade did not go with his what the heck? Your voices that filled your head after what's his face wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Looking for a weapon. Can't find a weapon. Well, you just put it in there. The Sentinel's jaw clamp around your hand. puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The sentinel's jaw remained closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. May even close your eyes and pretend none of this has.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
Yep. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your conscious does not have the ability to do any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Well, there is still another way.
And the march.
Forge ahead. Never linger.
Let it be known that my will, and by the true words of this doctrine, I appoint this person to be the bearer of the warrant of trade. It's too fast for me to read. To be the paragon of humanity, blah blah blah, to triumph over nightmares untold, blah blah blah.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Alright. Can we talk to people?
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Voxmaster, restore communication with the navigator's sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable. Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Lead the way.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Let's seize the moment.
Go here, close the door, meet Abelard, then we start getting into the real fights.
Master! Whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me! What is the meaning of this?
Are you with that traitor?
Master, with all due respect, what nonsense are you saying? Kunrad? A traitor?
Unquestionably.
Saint's blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
First weapon set. Alright. So I'm going to equip gear real quick. This one's a little bit better. Going to have to put this on Abelard because we're currently not trained enough for Medicaid, and then we use Avalar.
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treaties on
Yup.
That is a
And get
noticeable.
ready for
The
this
lower
fight.
decks are
Oops.
teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
For the Imperium and humanity, lead the way, Seneschal. Seneschal.
Come.
To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor! Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared!
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Violence it is then.
All right. So, actually, I want you to start right here. You to start right here. This is a pretty easy fight. So now,
Poised for action.
we can use this.
That is how it's done.
Ah, and we got 2 kills. Wonderful, wonderful. Ooh, we haven't unlocked the jump ability yet, which just means we can just take out
Let's set this in motion.
So, what to do here is do that. Yep.
Reduce to dust!
Armor.
I will do
Charge.
like you.
Oof. Unlucky parry. Okay.
I've
Suffered worse.
the ruinous powers!
Alright. We can do him. Run up
No
here.
foe too great. Didn't say that
Play
one.
dance off. And kill the one at the high side.
That is how it's done.
And that.
At your beck and call.
A parry. Alright.
Easy.
Night.
Costly mistake.
Ooh. And we get our first level. So, I think that is a good place to stop for today. If you're enjoying this series, please hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.